Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Dangerous Zygos, CEO of Currency Development, here with DJ Universe, Calvin Blingwell, and Dandy Market. And team, I want to start with a timeline that defies the modern attention economy. 5 years of absolute silence, followed by a number one debut.
Man, you're talking about Isaiah Rashad. When It's Been Awful dropped on TDE and Warner, it didn't just slide onto the radar, it debuted at number one on Apple Music's hip-hop chart. 16 tracks, no bloated deluxe version, no 30-song playlist filler. Just 16 focused cuts after a 5-year gap.
See, as an artist based out here in Calabasas, that 5-year gap is a terrifying prospect. The industry tells you that if you aren't dropping a single every month or posting 5 TikToks a day, you're dead. But Rashad proved that scarcity is actually a valuation strategy. It's like what Jay-Z does. Each album is a distinct chapter of an enterprise, not just a content drop. Or Nas turning sheer longevity into ownership credibility.
Exactly. You gotta stay lit to survive. But staying lit doesn't mean burning yourself out. Nipsey Hussle always preached that the marathon is about the durability of the catalog, not just immediate momentum. But let's be real here. Waiting 5 years is a luxury. If you're an independent artist trying to pay rent in Baton Rouge or Ohio, can you actually afford to sit on your hands for half a decade?
That's the real divide, Dandy. It's the difference between owning your timeline and being trapped by a label's quarterly financial goals. From a manager's perspective, I tell my artists that if you don't build a direct connection with your audience, silence looks like retirement. But if you build a cult following, silence looks like curation. It makes the audience hungry.
It's a hard balance to strike, though. Personally, the emotional pull to just release music when you make it is so strong. You finish a track at 3:00 a.m., it feels like the best thing in the world, and you want to put it on SoundCloud immediately. But the business side of my brain, the LSU business management side, has to step in and say, wait, is this asset protected? Does this fit the rollout? Are we rushing a product that deserves a legacy?
And that asset framing is exactly where we need to focus. A song isn't just a WAV file, it's a multi-lane revenue vehicle. When you own a master, you are looking at master recording royalties, publishing royalties, digital performance royalties through SoundExchange, and sync licensing for movies, TV, and video games. One strong record can generate cash flow for decades.
Look at Drake's Iceman. That track was eligible for RIAA Gold after its very first week. That is high velocity demand meeting durable asset value. When a song hits like that, it ceases to be just a streaming event. It becomes a blue chip stock in your portfolio.
But it doesn't have to be mainstream pop rap to be an asset. Look at JPEG Mafia. His experimental rap albums are highly specific, highly lane-focused. Because his sonic identity is so unmistakable, his catalog acts like branded real estate. Nobody else can duplicate it, which means his valuation stays high because there's zero direct competition.
But here is the trap, and I see artists fall into this all the time in LA. They sign these predatory 360 deals. Suddenly, the label isn't just taking a cut of the master royalties. They've got their hands in your touring, your merch, and your catalog sales. If you don't read the fine print of that contract, you're building a beautiful, high-yield asset that someone else actually controls.
So let's build the operational checklist to prevent that. First step, right now, audit your ownership. Do you actually own your masters? Are your split sheets signed and in writing? And crucially, are your songs registered not just with your PRO, like ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC, but also with SoundExchange to collect those non-interactive digital performance royalties?
Man, those split sheets are everything. Even if it's just you in the room, write down that you own 100%. Because 3 years from now, when a producer claims they helped you with a melody line over a DM, you need that paper trail. If the paperwork isn't clean, sync supervisors won't touch your track with a 10-foot pole.
That's a major point. If a music supervisor for a Netflix show wants to license your track, they need one-stop clearance. They want to know they can sign one paper and get both the master and publishing cleared immediately. If you have unverified splits, they will skip your song and use someone else's. This week, pick one track, prepare an instrumental version, clean up the metadata, put your contact and rights info in the file details, and make it queue ready.
Exactly. Don't ask, how fast can I drop this on Spotify? Ask, what release window maximizes the long-term value of this catalog asset? Treat your music like a portfolio manager treats acquisitions.
This brings us to the core philosophy. In hip hop, we talk a lot about knowledge of self, but knowledge is only power when it's applied. You can talk about ownership all day, but if you don't have the registrations, the splits, and the administration handled, then the mathematics don't add up.
It's that 5% nation mentality of building something real and structured. Discipline isn't just a mood, it's systems, paperwork, and planning. It's understanding that the pause, the gap between releases, only works if you are actively maintaining your infrastructure.
Right, because if you're silent on streaming, you still have to feed the community. You do that through touring, through direct-to-fan channels, through social presence. Isaiah Rashad didn't just disappear. His core fan base knew he was working, which kept the relationship alive. Silence without strategy is just absence.
So here is the challenge for every independent creator listening to this. Before your next release, look at your track and ask yourself one question. Am I just dropping another song, or am I adding a lifetime asset to my catalog?
That is the standard. Protect your value, lock down your paperwork, and build to last. We'll see you next week.